Welcome back to Chipola Athletics Coaches Show. This is the beginning of our summer edition. Here at the college, a lot of things seem to slow down a little bit during the summer season, but not necessarily with athletics. Today we have our national champion coaches, Coach Belinda Hendricks and Coach Jimmy Hendricks, here with us.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we haven't had a show since you've returned back from Utah, so congratulations on winning the national title to both of you. We've got the trophy here, some memorabilia. I know that's going to be going in the trophy case. Another stellar year. As we look back on the season, what type of thoughts do you have now that you can look back and had a very successful run?
I'm just overall very pleased with our girls. I joke with some of the girls or some of the people in the community, it's just another day at Chipola. I mean, that's just what we do, we win. But I'm proud of the girls. I'm a little disappointed we didn't play like that all year because the last 10 games, it was just so much fun to watch. I mean, they just played incredible. I mean, we all knew the potential. And just to see them play and be so successful and execute almost everything we called, it was just a great feeling. I'm a proud mama, proud parent, proud coach. So it was great.
It seemed like, talking about those last 10 games, that, as you mentioned, everything that you called for as a coaching staff seemed to work, whereas in conference, there were some hiccups along the way that maybe gave you some second thoughts as you went into the postseason.
Yes.
What do you think was the deciding point in those last 10 games or leading up to those 10 games as to the change in the team's mentality?
We got beat.
Right before we go to the state tournament, we usually invite, or we try to scrounge to get a game, because I'm very superstitious, so I don't schedule a game knowing or thinking I'm going into the state tournament every year. So we wait and we make sure we qualify, and then we start looking for a game to warm up to get to the state tournament. So we invited, I believe, was it one or two teams?
It was two.
Okay, it was two teams coming in, and one of the younger teams ended up beating us. So after that game, I thought, oh my goodness, I mean, there's not a shot for us to win this. And I think maybe it was a wake-up call for them. Maybe they realized what we were doing wasn't good enough. And I think maybe we had a discussion about trust. You know, trust and believe what me and Mr. call. I mean, he calls some crazy stuff. Sometimes I'm over at first and I'm thinking, why is he doing this? But for the last 10 games, they executed and it worked. I mean, just some stuff I just wouldn't have the guts to call, but they worked.
And having, as a fan, looking at the games, watching the games, it does make it a little more interesting knowing that Mister's down there around the third base, coach's box. You never know when a squeeze or a suicide squeeze is going to be called, and especially at the state tournament, a lot of them were called, Mister.
They were, and it was, and I want to say a gut, just a gut feeling. And we had the right kids too. Our kids, throughout the year, we challenged them to execute, and it didn't always work during the season. But the last 10 games it worked. I think there was two times in 10 games that it didn't, we didn't execute it. And that's a pretty good stats.
And pitching, not only execution, but pitching came on late in the season for you. Jessica Elliott, who's a sophomore, who has signed with the University of South Carolina, has a great opportunity there. She picked up some postseason awards. Just talk for a minute about her accomplishments and the other sophomores.
Well, first she was our conference pitcher of the year. Then she was first team All-State, which made her eligible to become an All-American. She was named NJCAA first team All-American. She was also named NFCA, which is our coaches convention, All-American. And she was titled, or has the title now, of the best, or NJCAA Best Pitcher of the Year. And then she was MVP of the national tournament and pitcher of the tournament. So, I mean, she's an incredible pitcher, and I'm so proud of her. But again, we all knew she could do this, so all season she could have dominated like this. But she chose the right time to do it, and she was very impressive.
Well, I think it helped too with the pitching staff, because the state tournaments where she, and I won't even say struggled, because I don't know if she struggled, but the other two pitchers got a chance to compete, and like Ilona, beat Miami-Dade 3 times in the postseason. And then Rocky came on strong at the end, where she had a couple saves and a couple wins in the state national tournament. So I think that took some pressure off of Jessica, and she got a chance to,
just relax.
Yeah.
But they're three different pitchers, and they complemented each other really well.
And the best part is, even though we are losing Elliott, we do still have some depth returning in our pitching staff for next year. So that's good news.
It's great news. Rocky ended up second in the country with her ERA. She actually had a lower ERA than Jake. She's a completely different pitcher as far as she throws down, Jake throws up, but they're very comparable speeds, but Rocky will mix her speed more. Rocky's got off speed, a little more off speed than Jake did.
Good
and Ilona, like you said, she beat Miami-Dade, which is a very good program, 3 out of 4 times. So we're excited about having them both back.
Good deal. Well, Coach, we would be remiss if we didn't mention that this is not your first national title. This is your second, winning it all in 2007. I know a lot of discussion has been made over the last month or so about how do you compare this national title experience and run to the first one? I would theorize that it's probably like you have 2 daughters.
Yes.
Each of them are different. How do you characterize both runs and put them both in perspective?
Different.
Yeah, they're very different. But in 2007, I think 1 through 9, we were very athletic, could do a lot of stuff. But this year, I felt like we just could execute. We could manufacture more runs and I just don't know. It's just incredible how the girls executed what he called. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. But they did it, and it was unbelievable. After 2007, though, I had wished I enjoyed it more, throughout the year, believing, we could do this. But in 2015, I had the same feelings. I didn't really know that we could do it until it actually happened, and we done it. So
and team-wise, and everybody keeps asking, who's better. The teams are different. You put them on the field 2007, and 2015, they both competed, and they did whatever it took to win.
Yeah, you had one individual that kind of had grit. In 2007, it was our second baseman, Sarah. She just had a lot of grit. We were all good. They were all good, but she had grit. In 2015, second baseman again, Holmes County, Sierra. A lot of grit. I mean, you could tell in her emotions and her want to. We just had it this year and in 7.
So I don't know if you'd have a winner out of them two. They might still be playing.
You'd have a great game.
It would be a great
game.
And in 2007, we also had another good pitching staff. 3 completely different pitchers.
And I think that's what it's coming to, especially with us, is pitching staffs. We're not relying on one pitcher. It's going to be 2 or 3 that we throw, and that's 07 and now. So.
And going back to the team concept, that's something that you may have had more talented teams, more offensively powered teams in the past that failed to get long into the state tournament, but you were also dominant on just one pitching. So as you said, looking more into the terms of a complete pitching staff and then having several team players, 1 through 9.
I think that's the biggest thing. 07 was not our best team ever on paper. 2015 was not our best team on paper. They were probably our best 2 teams, as in teams, as 1 through 19. They all competed, and they all helped each other, and they all executed. And from
they all
7
bought
to 15,
in.
they bought in.
To the Chipola way.
Well, Coach, as we look ahead going into next season, in summertime, a lot of recruiting goes on. How is everything going with recruiting? I know it's still a little early. You've already signed several back in January or February. How many do you have right now, or where are you?
Well,
in
we got returning, like you said before, we've got the 2 pitchers in our pitching staff coming back. We have both our middle infield. Courtney, our starting shortstop's coming back, and then Peke was our starting shortstop in 2014, but had to redshirt this year because of a hand injury. She'll be back. Then BB in the outfield. She was also first team all-tournament at the national tournament. She's coming back. Now, as far as the kids that we've signed and coming in, we're looking forward to having Brianna Sorrento. She's a pitcher from Jacksonville, power pitcher. She'll probably top out mid-60s. Good, and she hits, so she's going to be a 2-way player like Rocky. Then from Italy, we'll have a 2-time MVP European Cup catcher, with a little bit of size, 6 foot. I've talked to Coach G. She's got something on her Instagram about dunking a basketball. We're both trying to figure out if it's a small basketball, how high the goal is. No, but we're excited about having her come in. As far as outfield, we got one of the Jackson County's best players, Brooke Williams from Sneeds. She recently had a 20-game strikeout, but that's not what we were recruiting her for, so we may have to go back and think about what positions we're going to need her to play. But she's an all-around great athlete, and we're hoping she brings in that grit next year. And then from Tallahassee, we've got Tiffany Rayleigh. She's an outfielder that had signed with UAB, and with their whatever they have going on with football, either having it or not having it, she's opted to come sit here, come to JUCO and try to go back out, have more options available for her.
And she was with the Nico, first team All Big Bend. Tiffany was, and then you've got the two kids from here in Mariana.
Yes, Lexi. We're looking for good things from Lexi. She's a catcher, and then Tanaya Robinson. She's coming off of ACL. Speedster, left-handed hitter. She should be ready to go early fall. So, we're pretty excited. There's some big shoes to fill.
You got Casey Cruz coming in from Chipley, who's played third for the high school, projected to move to first. You've got Dana's coming back, Edmondson, from Panama City. Then you got Deborah, and you can say her last name.
I'm not real sure, Fernando, but she's a Brazilian infielder. Another one with good size, close to 6 foot. She plays short, just anywhere in the infield. So we're pretty excited.
Well, good deal. I find it always interesting. You always have a good blend of what we call local Panhandle players that played high school ball here in the Panhandle, but then also had the international blend, and seeing how those players interact with each other through the year and how those different cultures mix.
I've enjoyed it very much, learning about the different cultures. And I'm not sure if everybody knows, but our 1 through 3 was from Holmes County this year. The first 2 had graduated from Bonifay, and our number 3 hitter, Savannah Ryken, was graduated from Poplar Springs. So we're really proud. 3 out of the 9 or 3 out of the 10 from local kids. So we're
good deal.
Pretty happy.
Good deal. Well, coaches, appreciate y'all coming in. We'll come back later this summer with some more coaches shows and give you some more updates on recruiting. But appreciate you tuning in today, and we'll catch you on the other side.